Kal Kadosh, Boker Or. Daf Yomi, Masechet Batra Daf Kuf Ayin Bet Amud Aleph. Yeah? 172A1. So the Gemara comes and it says like this. This is starting the Gemara where it says, Ta'amal Ravina Ravashi, Vamil Ravashi Lev Kahana. He says, Va'ina de lo kavdina nachi. Nowadays, we're not going to do any of these things. So how do we write the shtar, which is a shtar meuchar? Shtar meuchar is a post-dated shtar. How do we write a post-dated document if we don't come and start writing down that this shtar is not written in the proper time, or the shovars, or all those things? So if we don't do that, so what are we relying upon nowadays? So Elmaleh went and he answered. This is where we finished yesterday, actually. The rabbis came and instituted, right, a rule in order to stop the problem of trickery. So he says a fraud. But if somebody did like the takana, so kol hakavod, but if somebody doesn't do the takana, so they lost to themselves. We're not obligated. Meaning the rabbis came and they tried to help you. If you don't help yourself, we're not obligated to help you. So therefore, you didn't do it. So fine, that's your problem. But we're not obligated to do anything in order to help you after we already did that. Okay? So this is where we're starting today. Amar lehu Rava. Okay? This is the third line. Okay? The end of the line. Amar lehu Rava bar Rav Shila la'anau katve shtara akniyata. So Rava bar Rav Shila came and he told the Sofrim, which they write shtare akna'ah. Remember shtare matana, there's different types of shtars. And we have shtare matana, shtare mechira. Now, Shtarei Alva'ah are not included. Because remember, Shtarei Akna'ah is making a kinyan. Hakna'ah. Kinyan. Who needs to make a kinyan? A guy that gets a present, or a guy that comes and buys and sells. Right? Those are people that they need a kinyan. But Halva'ah alone, you don't need any form of acquisition. There's no acquisitions here. So what happened is that he came and he told them, Ki katvitu Shtarei Akniyata, when you're going to write these documents, Iyaditu Yoma de Kanitube. If you guys know the Yoma Meduyak, that's meaning the precise day that's when you acquire, right? And that's done the kinyan, kitvu, write in the document. Vila, and if not, kitvu yoma dekaimube, write the day that you are today. Why? In order that it should not look like sheker. Meaning, if you're going to come and you're going to write it, so what happens is that usually you would have to write exactly when you made the kinyan. But now you don't remember when the kinyan was done. Was the last Wednesday? Was the last Tuesday? I don't remember exactly. So what do? You just write down today's date, right? That's what you're doing in order that it should not look like sheker. So he says, Amalehu Rav lesafre. So Rav comes, right, also, and he tells to the Sofrav, if you're going to be in Chile, which is basically a certain city, kitvu beshile. Even though they were giving you the words in hine. If you're going to be in hine, which means we're not going by where there was giving the testimony. We're given where you're writing the document. Meaning, if you're going to write the document, right, and you're in Chile, you write in Chile. You accepted the testimony and you saw everything happen in hine. I don't care. Where are you now? You're in Chile. You write down Chile. The other way around. You're in hine.
You say both. Here in Chile, we are writing that we witnessed in hine.
What? So he comes down and he says like this. Amar Rava. So Rava comes and he says, Haiman denakit shtara bar mea zuze. If a person comes and he's a shtar of 100 zuz in his hands, and he tells to the Bedin, Shavya ni'ali tre b'nei chamshin chamshin. Make me 2 shtarot of 50 zuz each. Lo meshavirin lo. We do not do that. Right? Why? My time, what's the reasoning? That means basically we wouldn't do it unless the borrower actually agrees to it. Says why? Avdu Rabbanan mintal denichale lemal v'nichale loveh. Chachamim with a special takana, right? That basically it's going to be good also for the malve and also for the loveh, which means that we're not going to come and we're not going to switch it without the agreements of both parties. Okay, v'nichale lemalve, right? Kedei shiachuf lepor'o, right? And it's better for the malve because it's going to force him to pay back, right? V'nichale leloveh ki echad nifkom shtareh, and it's only good for the loveh to get rid of the shtar. which means like this. If you remember, what was the reason why we said that we didn't want to change, right, the shtar? One of the reasons why we said that if you already paid back half the shtar, we don't want to change the shtar. The reason why is because it's going to force you to pay back on time. Because if I come and I have a shtar of $100, and all of a sudden I paid, right, or the guy paid me 50. So now what happens is that I don't give him back the shtar, and I'm not going to write him a new shtar. So if I'm not going to give him back a new shtar, I still have the shtar of 100. It's okay. I write him a shovar. I write him a receipt. But if he loses a receipt, I still have a document on him for $100. So therefore, he's going to try to make sure that he pays up as soon as possible because he wants to get rid of that document. If I would come right away now and change the document to one of 50, so now I've got all the time in the world because I'm only obligated you 50 anyway. So okay, so I've got the time. So if I don't pay you today, I'll pay you tomorrow. And if it's not tomorrow, next week, and next week, next month, and I continue going. So he says like this, the same thing here. When the guy had a document of 100 zuz, and now the Loveh, what's it called? He comes and he says, you know what? Come right to a 50. Yeah, he comes right to a 50. So he comes and he says, we're not going to do such a thing. Why? Because there has to be something good also for the Loveh and also for the Malveh. It has to be good for both parties. So unless both parties agree, it's not going to work. Now, why is it usually good for a Malveh that there's going to be one shtar? It's good for a Malveh that there's only going to be one shtar in order that it forces the Loveh to come and pay back on time. Because if not, he's always afraid that maybe he's going to lose the receipt and then the guy's going to come after him for the full price, for the full 100. But there's also takana that it's going to be good for the Loveh in order that it should be nifgam, the shtar, which is in the hand of the Malveh, in the fact that he paid back part of it. Because once he paid partial payment, so therefore that's already comes, right? And it's also going to be pogim, the shtar, that he did something with the shtar. So ve'amar Rava comes and he says, Hayman denakit tre shtare bene chamshin chamshin. Somebody that already does have two shtarot of 50-50. Yeah? That means each one is 50-50 zuz. Ve'amar, and he said, Shavinu lelichad bar mea. Make it one shtar. Also, we're also going to do it. Why? We remember that the rabbis always instituted that should be good for both parties, right? He says it's going to be good for the malveh in order that it should not be a pgam, right, in the shtar. And it's going to be good for the loveh in order that he shouldn't come and should be forced to pay back. Okay, fine. So Amar Ravashi comes and he says, if you already have a shtar which is 100 zuz, and he says, one of 50, we're not going to do it. Yeah? This doesn't make sense even. But he already paid it back. Right? That means he's saying, take the shtar of 100 and only give me one shtar of 50. I was thinking that all of a sudden he's taking from one to, remember, until now we were talking about two stars of 50 to change it to one of 100, or one star of 100 to change it to two of 50. And we said in both of them that if both parties do not agree, it does not work. Here, all of a sudden, we're saying you have one star of 100, you want to change it to one star of 50 because you're saying that you already paid back the other 50. So he says, we're not going to do it. My time was reasoning. I'm leaving, we say, Hi mifra pare. Right, the shtar that he already took off, it's actually paid. Elmaleh, and he says, give me the shtar. Elmaleh, and he says, irkasli. Right, it was lost. The kativ letavra, and he already gave him a tavra. Then he's going to take off this one. The Elmaleh, and he says, achrita, it's a completely different shtar. So because of that, now he's going to say, listen, a completely different shtar. It's a different document. You owe me a different payment, and therefore, again, this is going to be the varja, the trampa that we spoke about. So therefore, it's not going to be a goal. Okay, fine. We're going to speak about, right, the Shnei Achim. Okay, Mishnah on the bottom of Kufa in Bet Amud Aleph. Yeah, Shnei Achim. Yeah, you have two brothers. Yeah, two brothers, Echad Ani ve'Echad Ashir. Yeah, one rich and one poor. Yeah, the rich brother and the poor brother.
Never happened.
Huh?
It never happened.
It always happens. V'niach lahen avihen, and the father comes and leaves them a merchatz u'betabad. A merchatz and a betabad. The merchatz is obviously a bathhouse. And the betabad is usually an olive press, right? It could also be right. Okay, fine. So what happened was asan l'schar. If right now the father came and he made it and he used to always leave it for renting out, so schar lemsa. So obviously they divided between them. Asan, that's small, but if he did it for the personal usage and not to rent it out, Ashiro melani, the rich one could tell the poor one, Kach lecha avadim, virchatzu ben minchatz. The kach lecha zetim, v'aseh bebet abad. Tells him, listen, very, very simple. You need to use it, right? You're right. You're one of the children, so obviously you have the 50% usage. Go get yourself some servants and go to the bathhouse. Go get yourself some olives and go press them. Bechavod. Yeah, that's what he tells them.
Gives them both.
What?
Gives them both the bathhouse and the.
I didn't understand the question. What?
The rich guy is giving to the poor guy both of them. Both the
No. The rich guy is coming and telling the poor guy, his brother, by the way, our father left it not to rent because the poor one cannot say, come and rent it out. It doesn't work. So he comes and he says, bechavot, go get yourself some servants, go slaves, and go to the bathhouse. Go get yourself some olives and go do that. Now he knows he's not going to do it. He doesn't have. He's poor. So that's it. So he doesn't use it. So the rich guy
can't he use it for himself to take a bath?
He could, but usually whenever it was a bathhouse, it was always with slaves. There's the Mishnah. Shnaim shayu be'irachat. Two people that are in one city. Shema echad Yosef ben Shimon. The Shema acher Yosef ben Shimon. So it comes out that the two people who are living in the same city, they're called Yosef ben Shimon. So it comes out that we do not know how to differentiate between them because they both have the same name. And יכולים להוציא שטר חוב על זה, ולא אחר יכול להוציא עליהן שטר חוב. Nobody could come and take out a shtar chov on them, or they could not, or the other way around. Either way, right? Why? Because maybe it's not them. So therefore, what's going to happen? He's going to say, "It's not me. It's not Yosef ben Shimon." Well, who are you talking about? They're saying, why? Because they have the same name. So nimtzalech. That's why, by the way, it's very, very important that on documents you always write down also like a teudat zehut or a passport number or something. They always want to make sure because they need some type of an identification number in order to make sure. But if somebody else also has the same name, that they can't just come and say, it's me. So 1 second, but you have the passport number, this and this? No. So that's it. Right? נמצא לאחד בין שטרותיו, שטרו של יוסף בן שמעון פרוע, שטרות שניהם פרורים. Imagine one of them has a document that says that it's paid off, my debt documents. So now both of them are paid off. Even though they're two different people. Because again, since we have an identity problem, so I don't know whose it is. Maybe it was the other one, maybe it's this one, I don't know. So how do they do that? They don't come and, meaning if you want to come and borrow money and everything. So what do you do then? Yishaleshu. They have to go up another generation, a third generation. Right? Which means that, for example, they would have to do Yosef ben Shimon ben Yaakov. And the other one is Yosef ben Shimon ben Naftali. And you have to go up one more, a third generation. What happens if they're also Meshulashim? Yeah, that means it goes up to 3 generations. Yichtevu siman. Write a siman. Write down Yosef ben Shimon that he's a short guy. Or Yosef, right? Or that he's white or reddish. Right? All these things, right? Usually if they're both the same name, they're both the same. Right? Iraqi or whatever it is. Right? The concept is you're going to write something to describe the person. You understand? So you're going to say, whatever, all these different things. And if they have the same, yichtevu kohen. If one of them was a kohen, just write down kohen. Right? We write down he's a kohen. Fine. Let's go. Right? So for example, we have for example, we've got somebody in this Bet Knesset, the two names going up. So what do? You write down if it's a kohen, you write down a kohen. Yeah? Fine. Says the Gemara. Hahu shtara denafak lebe. It's the Gemara Mishnah. The Mishnah. Yeah? The truth is, you're right. One of them we write Iraqi, and one of them write down a Kohen. Hahu shtara denafak lebe dina. De Ravuna. He says there's a story. Yeah? He's live. He just went live. It's free advertising. He has to pay for it. Maseh b'shtar echad שהובא לפני בדינו של רב הונא. So ההוא שטרה, there was a star that came in front of the bedin of Rav Huna. תאהב הכתיב that it's written, אני פלוני בפלוני לוויתי מנה ממך. I so and so, I borrowed money from you. Okay? But it doesn't say what the name of the lender was. Meaning, it says, I borrow money from you. Who's you? No idea. X. I borrow money from you. But I don't know who X is. Right? Kufayim Bet Amubeh, 172b. Amar Rav Huna says, right? The word mincha, right? When it says from you, afilu meresh kaluta, right? Could be even the resh kaluta, or it could be even shivor malka from the king, which means that it's not a raya it's not a proof who has the shtar in their hands. Because anybody that finds that document, they're going to use it. I find the document. I'm going to say, you borrow money from me. He finds the document, borrow money from me.
And bearer bond, same thing.
So therefore, what he's saying is that since we cannot come and bring a proof, who does it belong to? Right? So he doesn't have to pay. We don't collect. Yeah, we don't collect. Fine. So Elmaleh Rav Chasta le Rabba, says Rav Chasta to Rabba, Puk, right? Go out. Vayemba. Look into this halacha. Right? Look at this halacha. Teleorta baila Ravuna minach. Was in the morning, Ravuna is going to ask you this question. Right? So Nafak dak vashkach. He went out and he looked. In the Tanya, he found the Braita. The Braita says, Get sheyesh elav edim, vembo zman. Imagine right now you have a get that it has edim, but there's no zman. Yeah? Edim without any zman, without a date. Abbas Shaul says, Im katubo, if it's written, Girashtia hayom, I divorced her today, it's kasher. Almas, you see from here, that the word hayom stam is ahu yom adenafik b'mashma, is the same day that it's going out in the bedin, right? But that's when she finds it. Hachanami, so to here, when it says mimecha, it's mahu gavra, so it's mashma, the one that has it. Meaning, just like by the get, right? Usually a get needs a time. You have to write down a date. But right now, it's not written a date. It's written today. So what do we say? We say that when is it? It's the same day that the woman is taking out this get. So therefore, just like over there, something which is very vague, but when it says today, it means right now, the same day that it's coming. When you say mimecha from you, meaning I borrowed money from you, it means that the person that's holding the bearer, right? That's holding the document. That's what it means. So Elmaleh, Abaye says to Rabba, the Dilma Bashaul Rabbi Lazar. Maybe it's incorrect. Because maybe Be'emet Bashaul holds like Rabbi Lazar. We learned this already yesterday and the day before yesterday. If you remember, according to Rabbi Lazar, he says Edem Mesira Karte. Edem Mesira Karte means that the real witnesses which make the get take into effect are not the ones which sign. They're the ones which are witnesses to the giving over, to the delivery, right, of the get, which is called Edei Mesira. And therefore, as long as the Edei Mesira are kosher, I don't really care about what's going on, right, with anything else. So, no, that's actually how we pass it, right? That's actually how we pass it, Edei Mesira Karte. Even though that Rabbi Meir says Edei Chatima Karte, even though that we pass it Edei Mesira Karte, we do still say that it's good lechatchila to be choshesh to Rabbi Meir and also have Edei Chatima. But the main ones are the ones which are giving over the get. Okay? Aval hacha, but over here, to do with the shtar, which is written laviti mana mimcha, I borrowed money from you. Leichush, why do we suspect lenefila that it's going to fall down? Meaning over there, maybe he just said it's going to be okay because you always have witnesses which are witnessing the delivery, and therefore it's going to be okay. But over here, maybe it fell from someone, and now you just picked it up and you said, "I won a lottery ticket." Why? I just found a ticket that says the guy owes me money. So Elmaleh, he tells him, "Lenefila lo chashina." We don't suspect for documents falling, right, and you taking it, and so on and so forth. So says the Gemara, how do you know that you don't suspect for nefila? So he says the Tram was went to the Mishnah. Shnaim shayu beirachat. When you have two people that are in the same city, Shema echad Yosef ben Shimon ve'echad Shem Yosef ben Shimon. You have two people that are called Yosef ben Shimon. Enam yocholim leotzi shtar chov zel zeh velo acher yachol leotzi alein shtar chov. They cannot come and take out a shtar chov at anybody else, or nobody else can take out a shtar chov on them. Ha hem al acherim. But they could do it on other people. They could take out a shtar chov. Now, v'amai, why? They chush nefila. Why don't suspect for the same thing? Which means that he cannot come and he says, right, that he did lend him the money or not, that he lost it, and then the other one was the one that found it. Why? Because we're going to say, which means, right, this is a proof that we do not suspect for nefila, that it fell from somebody. We don't suspect that, it fell, and then they found it. We don't suspect for that. So says the Gemara, Abaye, but according to Abaye, what does he hold? Lenefila dechad lo chayshina. The nefila de rabim chayshina. Here, it's only one person. It's Yosef ben Shimon. So the nefila of one person, we're not going to suspect, right? That one Yosef ben Shimon lost it. The other one also was b'diuk Yosef ben Shimon. He found it. That we don't suspect. But nefila here is of millions of people, because any single person that finds this document can use this document. So therefore, he says over here, nefila of anashim rabim, that we are going to come and we are going to suspect. right? And then obviously the Gemara will continue, right, the next time.